Hey there, if you're a beginner drone pilot, I know you're super excited to get started flying your DJI Mini 3 Pro. But before you do, I have some crucial tips for you. Whether you've never flown before or you have a little experience, in this video, I'm going to help you avoid some costly mistakes. So let's go through the biggest mistakes that I see beginners make when they're just getting started flying their drones. If you're wondering why you should listen to me, my name is Dane Visuals and I'm a content creator from Jamaica who's been flying drones for over 6 years. So yeah, I know a thing or two. Mistake number 1, turning off obstacle avoidance. Now, if you're an absolute beginner, I highly advise for you to keep obstacle avoidance on for as long as possible. Now, I won't lie, it is a little bit annoying if you have experience, but trust me, if you're just getting started, it's easy not to be able to judge spatial awareness, and you don't want to be flying your drone and end up colliding. Stuff like light wires, trees, you'd be surprised. Like, to be honest, I've crashed a fair amount of drones in my lifetime. No, I basically never use it, but as an absolute beginner, keep it on. Luckily for the DJI Mini 3 Pro, it has new features in the obstacle avoidance. So it has brake and a bypass mode. So in bypass mode, what it's going to do is going to use the sensors on the drone itself and try to avoid objects. So instead of coming to an immediate halt like before, in the brake mode, it would normally come to an immediate halt, but in bypass mode, it tries to use the sensors to avoid the object. So this is going to help you to basically still get your shot and not just come to a direct halt whenever it senses an object in the way. But definitely do not turn off your obstacle avoidance until you feel that you're competent in your skills. I'd say just keep flying it for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and just keep it on so that way you just know for a fact that you won't be crashing into anything that's obviously in front of you. And trust me, it's very much possible. So take your time and slowly turn off that obstacle avoidance, but keep it on for your beginner flights. Trust me, it will save you a lot. You don't want to have a crash in your first couple of flights. Mistake number 2, taking off before you have enough satellites. Now, I was guilty of this because honestly, when I just started flying, I used to just go up straight into the air. But do not take off your drone unless you have enough satellites. What satellites do is it helps to keep the drone in a position. They're basically GPS satellites, so it pretty much keeps the drone in one position. That's going to be essential for you to hover. It's also going to be very important for your return to home function. So as a beginner, you do not want to take off your drone until you see your satellites in the green. I'm not sure what's a good amount, but I'd say anywhere between maybe like 12 to like in the 20s is fine. But as long as the drone has enough satellites to maintain a hover position, you're fine. But you don't want to be taking off your drone without enough satellites. It will still be able to fly, but it won't be very stable in its hovering or its positioning. That's going to make it harder for you to fly. And as a beginner, why would you want that? You know, like, play it safe. Play it as safe as possible. Number 3, not using a spotter. Now, regardless of what level of experience you have with a drone, it is imperative, it is crucial, it is fatal. You need to have a spotter. A spotter is just basically going to be someone who's looking at the drone's position while you're flying. That way you can focus on your shots. You don't have to be looking where the drone is, and that person will guide you or direct you or alert you if you're flying too close or too dangerous. Spotters are extremely important because when you're getting your shots, you can't be looking back and forth. It's difficult. I mean, if you're a solo creator, you don't have a choice. But if you have someone with you, just ask them, hey, take a look to see if my drone is okay. Let me know if I'm going too close. No matter what level of experience you have, it's necessary. It's necessary for it's even more necessary for beginners. But as someone with experience, you could probably like get away with not having it sometimes, but you still want it because anybody can make that mistake. It is very hard to judge spatial awareness when you're looking on a controller and your drone is in the middle of the air, and there's so many things that could go wrong. So yeah, always have a spotter. You will not regret it. There's no downfall to having a spotter, and I mean that's extra company as well. So yeah, definitely ensure you have a spotter alongside you. If you've been struggling to color grade your decent light footage on your DJI Mini 3 Pro, not to worry, I have a free conversion note in the description below. All you have to do is click the link and it's all yours for free. Also, if you've been enjoying this video, it'd mean a lot to me. You could click that subscribe button as it helps me to make more videos like this just for you. Mistake number 4, taking off from uneven surfaces. Now, to be honest, I can be guilty of this sometimes, but now I typically tend to launch on my hand. Now, when you're just getting started, hand launching might be a bit scary. If you need some advice or tips on hand launching, I also have a video on that. I'll leave the link somewhere here. But basically, hand launching is going to be the easiest way, especially with a small drone like the DJI Mini 3 Pro. But you don't want to launch from anything that is not a flat leveled surface. Reason being is that when you're just getting started, when the propellers turn on, it's easy for the drone to tilt in a particular direction. That can cause it to fall off, to turn over, or for the blades to get stuck onto something. So remember, you need to ensure that you're launching from a flat, even surface, no stones, no sand. You don't want sand fanning to propellers. Just make sure you're launching somewhere that is safe for your drone. If you need a landing pad, you should go ahead and get that. That way, wherever you are, you can always launch. For the DJI Mini 3 Pro, it's pretty small, so it's not that hard to just hold it in your hand and just launch it. So I don't do that. I just keep it in my hand. But as a beginner, if you're a little bit scared of launching from your hand, just get a landing pad, or you can watch my video on how to hand launch your drone. And mistake number 5 is flying in windy conditions. Now, don't get me wrong, the DJI Mini 3 Pro does great in wind. It's a really amazing drone, trust me. But when it starts to get windy, it's going to be very hard for you to fly any drone. Doesn't matter if it's a DJI Mini 3 Pro or a MAVIC Pro 3. Wind is going to make it very hard for your drone to fly. It's going to be hard for you to control. It's going to be hard for you to get those nice cinematic shots. As a beginner, try to fly in more calm wind where you don't have to feel nervous when you're flying. If you're not that experienced, you don't want to put yourself in any additional stress. For persons with more experience, it might be a bit easier for them to go ahead and do that. So don't you go out in heavy winds. If it feels too heavy, leave it alone. Just stay to like simpler, calmer winds. It's going to be easier for you to fly. Now, if you enjoyed this video so far, the YouTube algorithm says you're going to love this video right here.